This is the modeling process for creating the DJI Inspire drone model. For the white frame, I used subdivision surfaces. It's kind of curved all over and doesn't really connect to the rest of the model, so that made a lot of sense. I used proportional editing to get the vertices into place. I noticed that the reference photos were not exactly the same on each side, so I had to move things into place as best I could. For the battery, I used the Hard Ops and Box Cutter add-on to create these beveled cutting objects and duplicated them. I'll put the links in the show notes for those two add-ons I used throughout the video. For the motor in the front, I beveled the original geometry edges, and then I created a cutting object, and I made an array of that object, and then I used the Box Tools circular cutter to cut the cutter, and that gave us this this array look of these veins cutting into the original material or original object. For the curves, I used just a curve with the extrude settings set up a few millimeters and then duplicated everything. For the legs, I used subdivision surface for that. They're curved and smooth, and that made a lot of sense. And then I just used the bridge tools to bridge together the pieces of geometry. Added some extra cuts around the corners to smooth things out. And for these nubs, I used just regular polygons, cylinders, beveled them, duplicated them, moved them into place, then froze the subdivision and combined everything into one piece. For the rotor, I used the box cutter tools and bevels to make some smooth cuts. Duplicated the cutting tools and created one that was like an inset. And used subdivision surfaces for the actual rotor blades themselves. For the camera, for the iris around the camera, I created a bevel cutting object, and then went to Alt-E and did the spin modifier to get an equal distance cutting object around the entire radius of that frame.